Hello.
Ayo, ayo.
What's up? How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. Okay, we're gonna go over it. It's the game you went 14. What do we call it? 14, 12, and 10, right?
Yep, yep.
Can you see it on Discord or is it not showing?
Yeah, I see it on Discord.
Okay, good. So you're up against Warwick, Agar, Samira, Seraphine, Lux, right? And you decide to go Blue Cane. That's pretty smart. Blue Cane. Wait, what rank is this again? It's Plat, right?
Plat 4, yep.
Plat 4. Okay. That's good. That's good. I'm glad you're using First Strike instead of Dark Harvest. I think some people are still stuck up on that, but that's good. This game, I mean, they have a pretty interesting comp. Definitely not a very well they don't really have much to work with. They don't really have good side lane. Their team fighting's kind of meh because their front line's not really all there. The only thing they can really play off of is like the death ball of like just perma grouping because they have the box, they have the Seraphine ult, Lux, the Samira. So typically the way that I'd want to look at this game is just keeping them separated at all times is the way that you want to win, right? Just making sure
Hmm.
that at all times you're always like looking for picks, pushing outside lanes. So this game you wouldn't play how you would normally play. As for pathing, I mean, it looks like it's Samira mid and then Seraphine Lux bot and then Vagar top. So you can pretty much path anywhere. I mean, yeah, doing a bot to top path would be pretty good. Blue Smite, that's good. Pot's good. Thing looks good so far. And then the enemy jung being Warwick. Warwick is a champion that typically does like 3 camps. He usually skips out on Raptors Krugs. And this is why Warwick is so free to play against and why people don't really play him in high elo. It's because you could pretty much just take these camps whenever or however, and if he does choose to farm these camps, he's wasting a lot of his early game time. Until he has Tiamat, these camps are kind of void, and that essentially means that they're your camps. So right here, looks like you decide to path bot. You're starting top pathing bot. Is there any reason for that?
Just so I can be bot side. I thought Warwick would be in a different area, but then he shows on the map because we got a ward.
Okay.
Um, I also wanted to make sure that my bot lane didn't get impacted before Warwick.
Yeah, no, I definitely see that. I mean, I think the thing is with MF Brand, no matter even if they get camped or not, as long as you make it to mid to late game, they'll do damage. They'll be useful no matter what because their ults is what they do. The main thing I'd want to look for here for pathing is that Vagar is a mage, he's a mid laner, and he's playing top. He's in such a long lane, so if he's ever pushed past this point, it's a really free gank. And you gotta walk him down too. You gotta get so many orbs off that guy. Normally, these type of champions just cannot exist in this long lane because of how long and big it is. And you know, a champ like Mundo who has amazing setup, he has a slow. Follow your slow, or one of you can lead with the slow and then follow it up, right? So that's pretty much what I would look for. That's why I think ganking their bot lane. I mean, when you think of Lux Seraphine, you don't really think they're gonna play aggressive, right? You typically think they're just gonna safely farm, send their tower, and try and free scale. So
Yeah.
I think most of the time, unless you have like a really aggressive bot lane like Draven Thresh or someone with insanely good setup, your setup is like decent. You have like CC and like Brand has to like had someone on the open, right? So I think pathing top would have been the play here instead of pathing bot, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean starting blue side, nice. I'm glad you pathing properly. That's good. Hit W, perfect. Okay. Then you saw Warwick start at the top, so you know you're pathing into Warwick, which this is a extremely terrifying thing that you have to be very cautious of. Is that, well, for one, if you would have path bot to top, and hypothetically speaking, if you paid a little bit more attention to when this ward caught Warwick and you decided to reroute your path and start bot side, like I said, you can take Raptors and Krugs from this guy much whenever. Now, if he chooses to
Hmm.
do those, then it's very bad for him. He's the one who's not getting any benefits. So if he does choose to do that, I think that's why typically you would want to path not only what's best for your team, but what's best to counter the enemy junk. Because sometimes you want to path away from a certain laner, like let's say it's Lee Sin or something. You don't want to path where Lee Sin is pathing, right? Or
Hmm.
same with Warwick. I mean, it's a little bit worrisome because typically Kayn, he passes a full clear, Warwick passes to do like 3 camps into a gank, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, that's just something you have to watch out for if you're pathing into a specific laner. So this is why you kind of have to guess like, okay, well, I think he's gonna start here because of this reason. Like, certain champions usually start certain buffs. Like I think Warwick would normally start red because it's his most useful buff to get. The blue doesn't really do as much for him because he regenerates mana in the jungle. I mean, it's okay, but it's not ideal. And yeah, doing your clear here. since you saw him topside, I think it would be a really good indicator to start like just spam pinging where he is. So once you're done with 3 camps, I think that's typically a good indicator to start pinging like this camp, the Raptors, or maybe right over here.
Yeah, that's why I started pinging the Gromp just barely there.
Yeah, I see.
Like, that's why I was immediately going for it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And you're looking for the gank early on. They're pushed past a certain point, so you're looking. That's nice. I think the way that you approach this is really important. The angling, the idea is perfect. Being able to see that they're pushed past this line. See, you need to make sure that you're punishing that they're pushed past this line. Be able to queue over this wall and getting a huge angle behind them. And if you can get this flank angle, you get a guaranteed W to connect and then an auto Q with the red buff. It's a double slow, and maybe you don't kill them, but you definitely get sums, and it's your highest chance of getting a successful gank off. So I think the positioning of where you're ganking from is very important. Because right here, I mean, the only thing you could really benefit from that angle would be a counter gank, but you actually could lose the 3v3. I don't think so because you have Brand MF, but you're a lot weaker than Warwick, so I mean, it wasn't
That's what I was
kind
of scared of. Yeah,
yeah.
I was scared of fighting that Scuttle.
And you skipped Krugs this game, and skipping Krugs only means one thing: you're going to be playing really aggressive this game. And I think this could be a game that you can play aggressive in, but you need to make sure that you are making a lot of plays wherever Warwick is not. So if you have an idea of where Warwick is, you make your plays wherever he is not. Somehow, I mean, Warwick, he's... Look at his clear. It's 3:45. He's doing a full clear, and he hasn't done his full clear yet. So I mean, that just goes to that just goes to show, like, if you see his Krugs and Raptors God, you should just know that it is just all this free time you have to look for plays. Like, for one, let's see, when you go for the Scuttle, let's see. I don't think this wave was... Actually, no. This wave definitely could have been diveable. If Mundo poked him. Nah, I think it would be way too forced. He had minion dematerializer. Keep your eyes on the map, though, would be good. Maybe mid could have been diveable. Mid would have been your lane to dive or pressure right here if you look mid instead of looking for the Scuttle. Especially right here. Oh my god, the aggressiveness. At least she dies here. Yeah, because she went way above and beyond. So usually when you're like done with all your camps and farming, if you do want to look to play aggressive and be... What the heck? You guys almost just ran past each other.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay, you didn't have your E up. I was gonna say if you had your E up, you could flash EQ.
Yeah.
Okay, not bad. I would have went for that Q too. Maybe I would have like baited it a little bit more because sometimes they don't respect the flash. So I think the way to play this properly is notice how she's walking up. I would like pretend to walk away for a little bit, like maybe like walk one step back and let her keep coming, and then walk forward. And if she doesn't like immediately back up, then you can flash. You kind of need to like bait them into thinking, oh, he doesn't have flash. Oh, this is free kill. If you want to make a play like that to catch him off guard, you have to make sure that they are, under the impression that you're making the mistake, not them. You gotta gaslight them a little bit. As for now, I mean, staying on the map this long is kind of crazy. Like I said, this is like. I think the play, if you're looking to help this mid laner out, what you do is you just shove the mid lane. Like after you use your flash and all this, you just gotta help him shove the wave out. Shove the wave out. And the thing is, I don't think Warwick can 1v2 you in a minion wave. No. If you shove this wave out like with him, like walk up with him right here, and you shove it all the way in, Samira wouldn't be able to stay under tower. You can just zone her off. She can't stay under. And then if Warwick tries to fight you, yeah, you're gonna beat him up. Oh, I would. Okay, yeah, that was a bit of a mistake. But when Warwick uses that E ability, I can tell you exactly why he lost this. Could have won this. When it uses that E ability, you have to W him and wait it out. And then once it's done, see right here, he has like insane amounts of damage reduction. 35%, which is a pretty solid amount, especially for the early game. So right there, he's CC'd. I would just try and slow him. Play it slow. Once his E is done, then you could look to like fight him, be more aggressive in this scenario. Oh, definitely. Because you use W, get feared. Yeah, you gotta kite him out a little bit. Because your W is the way that you can distance. But yeah, so see, the issue with this aggressive playstyle of trying to make plays, giving out on Krugs, instead of just like perma-farming, making a good path for yourself, is exactly what just happened. Is that the fact that pretty much almost any jungler is stronger than you early on, because Kayn first form doesn't have a passive. Your passive is getting a form, So you're not typically going to be stronger than any other champion, and the things you need to punish is the fact that you can farm more than any champion. So this is why we say prioritize your farm. Your farm is always the way that you're going to keep the advantages, right? So I think that's why I would just play to like full clear permanently and just consistently look to do that. Even though it's not bad to look for aggressive plays and ganks when you have such good lanes for setup. Like every lane has good CC and a lot of the enemy laners are really easy to gank. But I think there's definitely a different way to play around it. Just for now, I mean, getting the Dirk, that's good. Waiting over here for the top scuttle. So yeah, once again, I think just farming your bot side. I think you got to be a little bit more farm centric. You got to just play the full clear, and then after you're done clearing, then you look for ganks. Like I said, you can gank pretty much any lane, but the one thing that's a guarantee to get yourself an advantage is, you know, your farm. Because you've looked for, what, 3 ganks now, and there's been no success. Some games it'll work out, but, you know, the thing is we're looking for consistency because your camps will always be there. And the plays that are after those camps, is what you got to make do with. Those are the, you know, the time period. The respawn time between camps, like from your first camp to your last camp, that's what you play off. That's your gank time. Right here, this was a successful counter gank. It's pretty good, being at the right place, right time. I wouldn't really call this like predicted, like it kind of just happened. So it kind of was just like, you know, it's fortunate. But that happens a lot in jungle. Sometimes you get like fortunate plays. It's good. Mundo gets the kill. I mean, you prefer Mundo to have a kill in this lane because Mundo's the one, if he gets a lead, he can tank the tower shots and you can just dive Veigar whenever you want. I think Edge and Knight would be a really successful item here as well. I think typically I don't like to encourage it too much because it's a very safe playstyle, but I think getting like Prowlers and Edge and Knight, the teams with very high CC, like, you know, Veigar and Seraphine and Lux, like champions, they could just click a button and hard CC you, and they can stack it. I think that's where you get Edge and Knight. Stepping into Warwick's jungle after you respawn is like a huge no-no. You never want to do that.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I figured that so he had all his camps cleared, and I saw his red was spawning, so I'm like, I think he would just go bot side.
Yeah.
I didn't think that you'd walk for the one camp.
Yeah. Well, Warwick, like I said, he prioritizes. Warwick players, they love their red buff. The red buff is like their bread and butter. So it's understanding like which camps mean the most to him. Like if it was the case, like let's say his Raptors Krug spawn, but his bot side was up, then you'd probably get his Raptors Krugs. He wouldn't run straight to his Raptors Krugs. His red buff, that's like his most important camp for him, so he's gonna defend it with all of his heart. And let's see. Okay, so you're just farming down, planning to farm your bot side camps, and then honestly, I mean, I feel like you haven't really looked bot at all this game, even though your initial path was catered towards bot lane. And it's not like bot lane's really ahead either, or really ahead or behind. I think the way you play, especially with TF, is post level 6, you have to be looking for, you know, just forcing ganks. Any lane, bot or top. Even mid lane could work, I feel like. Once you're done with all these camps, then it would be like a good time to look around for like, okay, can we dive bot? You know, because I think a lot of people, they don't like to be too aggressive, but you can dive a lot. Just can. If you have an idea of where Warwick is or isn't, that's definitely a cue to like play more aggressive in a lane. Or let's say you think he's bot side, then you could just wait behind them. Maybe wait to see if there's a counter gank. Or if you think he's top side, well then you just force the bot dive. Use your ult, you can tank a couple tower shots, then ult. It's a tower aggro reset. That's why it's so good. Why it's one of his best tools. See, like right here, definitely I feel like if this wave stacks up with the next wave, you shove this in, have all that CS under the tower, you definitely set up a dive play, and that would snowball your bot lane insanely ahead. As for here, I mean, this wave is shoving in towards them. This wave, it's a big wave build. Big wave building. This wave, I mean, I guess you could say it is, but diving mid tower is a lot more terrifying, especially against a Warwick, because it's really easy to go from the jungle to mid lane, as opposed to if he's top, hard to get the bot, you know? But, I mean, you saw him on Dragon resetting, so you know that there's an angle to do something. Right here, I mean, play Hopium. Yeah, you just gotta hope and pray that something works out. The way that you initiate with these ganks as well, I mean, you gotta make sure that, you know, using the right abilities, like right there. I mean, you didn't have your E. Use your E to get there. I think you got to be smarter with saving your E. Like, holding your E for ganks. Like, let's say you wanted to gank here. I think just Q over the wall. Like, after you're done killing the Krugs, just Q over the wall and then look for this angle and then E around. That way you get a perfect flank on her. Because then you don't have to use your flash. You can hold your flash for her flash. And, you know, if you did that, you'd kill her. Yeah. Shutdown as well. So, it's all about just angling, getting the proper angles, getting the proper setup behind someone. And let's see. Okay, bot lane dies. So yeah, so it's just like a lot of timing where you could be making plays. It's either just not well executed with the angles, or it's just not the right play to look for. Like you're trying to impact every lane at the same time, and this is why I always say Kayn usually only focuses 1 or 2 lanes. Because what you would want to ideally play like is you want to farm all your jungle and then look for a gank on that side of the jungle. So let's say you farm bot to top and then you look for a play either top or mid or on the objective or for an invade. But if you try and play like every single lane like you've been doing, sometimes the ganks will work out, but most of the time they haven't. I think you've had like 2 successful ganks out of like 7 or 8, which isn't bad,
Yeah.
but just think about it. Like Kayn isn't like a Lee Sin. He doesn't have as good recovery. It is kind of encouraged to fight and look for ganks, but you have to make sure that you're getting a CS advantage as well, because you're going to get into an elo very soon, probably Diamond. But when you get to Diamond, junglers will punish you a lot for not killing your camps at the right times, or for not, you know, getting enough gold and getting enough plays off, right? So it's just better to get into a more consistent feel of things and look for ganks and look for plays at certain time slots. Like right here with your bot camps respawning, if you stick around top for too long, you sacrifice your bot side camps, which isn't bad if you get a really good play and you take his top side camps, but you have to make sure that you're taking all that, right? So typically whenever you make a play for an objective like you did for Rift, you would want to clear your opposite side, make sure that there's no camps over here, and then you would prioritize the objective. You don't need to prioritize it over these camps. Like at this point, if you want to be extra aggressive, you could skip out on the side of the camps that you're going to stay on. So let's say you're saying bot side, you don't have to do Raptors or Krugs because you'll be there to defend them. Or let's say you want to stick around top side, vice versa with those camps. And always looking to invade and get deep in the enemy jungle. I feel like getting control wards, like you have control wards, but you need to be placing them like very deep. So if you walk into the enemy jungle, you know, putting one here or here, and then you could spot out Warwick, makes it a lot easier to react to where he is. Because let's say you see him hypothetically somewhere, then you're like, okay, well he's top, I can make a play forcing bot, right?
Yep.
And it just helps out a lot in the hang of doing stuff like that. Okay, right here. Okay. Alright, I'll tell you one thing that'll help you out a lot. This is something I didn't know until I was like Challenger. He CCs, she CC'd. It's all about stacking CC, right? So she CC'd, you have gold card. If you immediately W her, and you know she has no flash, then she is getting double stack CC. You have to wait till the full duration is usually done, so you want to walk as close as you can. So once the duration's done, you W her, and then you can Prowler auto Q, because if you slow her, then it makes it a lot easier to keep on top of her. And if you stay on top of her, then you can get your full combo off, and you can kill her. There, I mean, I think you got like maybe 1 Q off, the Prowler kind of got off, the W didn't connect, the ulti landed, but definitely would have had the damage to kill her. So usually when you're playing with laners with CC, you gotta stack the CC, you know? Then Warwick looks for the dive here. I can't do much after he does that. Walks out. Farming is definitely like a huge thing you gotta get into though. Farming a lot.
Yeah, normally I'm pretty farm heavy. This game I ended up being a little more aggressive in doing things.
Yeah, I see that. I mean, you're still ahead in CS, so that's good. So I got a bit of a CS advantage. And the enemy jung, Warwick being 3-1 is very terrifying for you because he's the only one on their team that you could never kill. Like you straight up can never kill him because he's just gonna use his E and that'll pretty much negate your entire combo. So that's like the one person I'd be very worried about, terrified of, because yeah, Warwick is he's not the person you want to have gold. But if you're looking to play aggressive, like I said, you have to be looking to like play off the waves. Like if there's a shove in, shove out. If there's a shove in, you look to dive. If there's a shove out, to gank. And this is why vision plays a huge factor when you're playing aggressive. It plays a huge factor. And yeah, like I said, a lot of your fightings, I mean, a lot of the gameplay so far is it's just a lot of looking for plays. Like I said, you need to have a more constructive mindset where you're like, there's no real structure. It's just like, see someone fight, see someone fight, see someone fight. And a lot of people get into the hang of this mindset. And this is what happens, because if you get yourself an advantage, you guarantee would be able to kill her in that situation. And let's say your team is dying and inting because you haven't been ganking enough. Well, you're going to be the one that's ahead enough to kill her and get the shutdown, right? So this is why you definitely, I mean, yeah, prioritizing the farming, CSing, because the only way you really beat Warwick is by just getting a CS advantage on him, like getting as much XP, getting as much gold as you can. And a lot of the current mistakes right now I'm seeing is just the same repetitive of, okay, skipping out on camps, just looking for fighting, you know. And a lot of understanding when and how to fight is just understanding your limits. So it's not bad because you're getting more comfortable understanding, okay, well, I didn't have enough damage there. I didn't have enough damage this. It's typically like, okay, if she has shield bow, then you need serpents to kill her, you know? Simple stuff like that. Or, okay, he has played stone caps. I can't really kill him unless, you know, someone helps me kill him. So, or let's say, okay, well, I'm behind, Mundo's ahead. What I always encourage is if you're behind and one of your laners is ahead, you usually have to play through that lane. So you might give up the early dragons because Warwick is just way ahead of you. There's not really much that can be done. So what you'd want to do is you went straight top, but I think what you should have done is clear bot side camps all the way to top side and then go. Or maybe, you know, your Rift was about to spawn out, so you want to get there immediately. Then, you know, send the Rift and then just take your top side, go to your bot side, clear all that, and then maybe look for an overstay in bot lane because they've been doing that a lot. So yeah, I mean, yeah, you just want to play off your better head. I mean, even the Rift and get it connect to the tower, can really get good usage out of that anyway.
Yeah.
Probably would have found more success using a bot or something, but you definitely want to look to be a lot more, you know, farm heavy and just more controlled fighting. Cause yeah, look at this. This is a bit of a menace right here. It's like spawn fight, spawn fight, spawn fight. Which, I mean, getting the shutdown's good. So that fight, I mean, 2 dying for a shutdown, pretty big. You know, goes to Mundo, probably one of the best champions on your team to get gold because they don't really have the damage to kill him if you kill Samira. So I definitely put my eyes on killing the Samira. So your itemization should definitely revolve less around the getting Edge of Night. Because, I mean, if you got the Edge of Night, you path properly and gank the right lanes, that would just make it so you can kill anyone whenever you want, no matter what. But now it's like, okay, we have a Samira problem. How are we going to handle Samira? She's going to, you know, be able to block out a decent amount of CC with one of her abilities. The, you know, dodges out the TF gold card and maybe even the brand stun if you time it at the same time. So the way that you're going to need to kill her is very hard, to be honest, but it is doable. I think just poking her down with PWs and playing through your team's combos would be good. Right now, you're kind of getting free kills. I mean, this is just the point of the game where there isn't really any structure. It's just everyone's fighting. It's kind of like ARAM. And the thing is that regardless of those early mistakes, which you can easily fix those, you know, just farming more, playing a little bit more between timers of, okay, only look for ganks. After I'm done with all the camps, after I'm done looking for the invade, you know, setting up more deep control ward invades, like, you know, stuff like that, right? You could do that, right? It's all simple stuff. But I think the thing that I'm going to look to be telling you is that you probably wind up in a lot of situations like this where you're kind of behind, you know, things kind of went sour. And then you get a couple kills and you're like, okay, how do I carry from this point? I think that's what a lot of people are looking for.
Yep.
From this point, like I said, I mean, the Samira, she's got to be handled. But this is where Shadow Kayn, Assassin Kayn, the blue form, is at its strongest. This is where you can turn a game that's guaranteed loss, you know, being down 20 kills, into a win. It's all about tempo and it's all about playing for your life. You got to play to stay alive no matter what. So you only look for kills, and when you're behind like this, you only look for kills and plays, whether it's through your laners, so let's say, you know, through your Mundo, because he's so ahead, or you play through your abilities, like your ult and your prowlers. So typically you do not want to look for any solo kills unless it's a guaranteed free one, such as like, you know, Seraphine if you catch her out on her own, or maybe Veigar if he just wastes his box or something. Lux has stopwatch, so I don't even think she's free, but none of them are really that free. So you have to look to play through the CC and who's ahead. So Mundo is ahead and TF is the CC. So play, just farm all your camps, and then after you're done farming all your camps, then you look for, you know, plays with your CDs, and then, you know, once you use your ult, you try and live. You just try your hardest to get out. Okay, got to kill. Now I live. Okay, I use my flash and ult to kill, you know, this person. Now I just play live. You want to make sure that you're making only good plays and you're not dying at all, right? So
Okay.
that's how you play Blue Kayn. The secret of winning is Blue Kayn is being able to impact the map a lot but not die. A lot of people, the thing that they mess up with is the dying part. And I could tell this game, you're probably going to die a lot. Doesn't mean that you're not going to get a lot of kills, but yeah. And the way that you want to approach this gank are fighting Seraphine. Looking for the CDs, that's smart. Okay, get a 1-for-1. See, that is something you never want to look for. Because this is a free pick, right? But if you get a 1-for-1 and they outscale you, then I mean, it's not really worth it, right? Yeah, waste your time, waste your XP, Warwick's farming up. So I mean, the way that you want to play this, if you think they have ult or flash, is you play to poke with W, and then you just want to play to use your high mobility to make sure that anything she throws at you, I mean, you can dodge it. Your Q is literally designed to help you dodge abilities. It gives you a burst of movement speed forward, right? So right here, W, then Q up, and then you could just Prowler on her, auto, get her low, and then if no one else shows, then yeah, ult her, kill her. But if you would have seen Lux show, then maybe be like, okay, well I got her ult, I maybe try and kill her if you feel confident dodging the Lux Q or whatnot. So I mean there's definitely ways that you got to play with that aggression. Because like I said, the thing you got to work on that I'll teach you the most is playing to not die. Because if you can somehow get a kill there and live and then farm all your camps, think about all that time and XP you're getting. The time it takes you to respawn, you could have farmed all these camps, all 4 of them. And then you could have maybe looked behind Mundo, even without your ult, because Mundo's so ahead. And that's another play. See what I mean? It's like, that's how you play Blue Kayn. It's a snowball domino effect. So anytime you're dying, that time wasted, you could have made 2 more plays, or another play, or you could have farmed all your camps. And that time being wasted is the time that the enemy team is needing to outscale you. So that's really what I can imagine happens a lot this game, just too many deaths. That happens to a lot of game players, but we're like, Charisma, I had like 27 kills, but why'd I lose? I see they had like 15 deaths, That's why. Can't die that much. If you go like 27-1 and lose, your team just probably sucked. Or you didn't play off objective enough, right? But I can always tell. And see, look at this. The team fighting, this is what you don't want. This is exactly what you don't want. When you're playing Blue Kayn, when they're grouped like this, you need to separate them. So this is where, full clearing your camps and then maybe shoving at the bot side and hitting this tower, splitting can work a lot because you're applying pressure and you're forcing someone to go bot. It's one person, you could look to solo kill them because you're an assassin, right? And if no one goes, you just keep pushing, right? So you definitely have to get more into the hang of not letting them group up. There's a lot of comps. If you want to play to counter grouping and fighting, you play Red Kayn, right? Even though Red Kayn, they only have 1 melee. If you want to play this playstyle though, you play Red Kayn. Simple as that. Anyone that if you don't feel as comfortable playing a little bit higher tempo or a little bit more side lane Lion, then you just play Red Kayn. Simple as that. Because Red Kayn's the one that groups like that. Red Kayn's the one who's looking for fights like that. And with what's going on right now, I wouldn't be worried at all. I'd feel like, oh yeah, we're gonna win this game because you have Mundo, and no one's gonna kill Mundo. No one on their team can kill Mundo at this point. And just playing off TF like, hey TF, as soon as you see Samira, try and have Mundo match, and then you just 1v3 her, right? TF. At the CC, you got the tankiness. And if she ults and you're taking a lot of damage, you can just might ult her, you can auto ult her, you can just try and get your ult off in any way possible. Right there. The mechanics, definitely, there's certain things that, I mean, like I said, the more you play, you'll get more comfortable with it. Just knowing when to use certain abilities and how to kind of play with them. Yeah, see, poking like that is very good. Making sure that you just get a little bit of poking every now and then. And then when you do go for the one shot, you got to make sure that you're getting the Prowler auto Q off. Sometimes you just Prowler Q. Doesn't really work as well. The auto helps you stay on top of them so you get both Qs off. Because your Q is a dash and a strike. 2 forms of damage. If you're only getting 1 off, it doesn't really do much, right?
Yeah.
That's why the auto fits in there. Yeah, I mean, getting caught out and constantly dying to Samira kind of scuffs. See, right there, so the time, W Prowler's auto Q. Probably save your ult there. And then, that's another ability you could use to, auto ult Samira. Hold your ult, Mundo comes. You easy kill, easy get out, right? Play to live, so why just being able to properly combo is the most important thing. And planning to live, planning to get out. Anytime you're inside someone, you should always think, okay, what's my get out method? How do I live in this situation? Like, you know, R'ing far away and then flashing. You can flash E into the wall. A lot of people, they don't know that. I'm sure you probably know that. If you like press E and then flash into the wall, you can go there. So I mean, there's a lot of way to live, but yeah, making sure that you stay alive, because if you stay alive, you know, you can be alive for the objective, and you get that. And that stalls the game an extra 5 minutes. Gives you more time to look for picks and plays. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of this game is just gonna be a lot of the same things going on, like a lot of just fighting. I can imagine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is.
It's just gonna be a lot of fighting. So I think, like I said earlier, the way to feel better with this is to just make sure that you're pushing the side lanes out, farming all you can. See, like this, what you're doing perfect right now, and then you farm towards top. But see, look, you're looking mid lane again. You're looking to fight again. Just constantly looking to fight. You don't need to fight this. Genuinely, you don't. Think, okay, we have the numbers advantage. Maybe we should fight. But the thing is, it's not like anyone's overstepping. It's not like anyone's gonna get caught out, because you don't really have the vision as well. Let's see. Mirror gets caught. That's good. That's good. So sometimes this is the thing, is that sometimes because of the elo you're in, if you do that, you know, someone might make a mistake. But think about how many times is the mistake going to be your team, and how many times is the mistake going to be their team, you know? It's going to be like a 50-50, right? This is why I always say, like, a more structured play style, more consistency will definitely help you out a lot. And then the Baron call here, I'm not opposed to it, but I just want you to look around as to who is helping you with the Baron call. If you have Brand and Mundo, those are the two ones that you actually need, because Mundo tanks it, and you know, it's easy. And then Brand, he's the one who does all the damage to it. So I mean, now you're all kind of low, and Warwick's still alive, and you don't really know if he has smite, so it could be a 50-50. That's just a terrifying situation to be in. Whenever you get a pick, you should not be the one getting punished, or you should not be the one trading. Get a pick, you should get something for free, guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
So all right, we got a pick, we get the tower. Sometimes you got to be willing to just take the small dubs. Like, all right, we got a pick, let's go invade some of his camps. Let's get a tower. Let's get the wave shoved. Let's get some deep vision. You know. Sometimes you don't need the whole shebang at the same time, right? It's a little bit too antsy. You know, you got to make sure. Okay, do we have time and do we have the champions to do this? You had Mundo and Brand next to you. I think it's a great call. I think that'd be like a really like high elo call, like stuff that even masters, the grandmasters would get fucked over with because they wouldn't be expecting it. But just because they were,
Hi, best Kane in world and my
it was
fast
MF
streamer.
and TF, it was just impossible to do. As for now, I mean, I'm surprised this game goes another, what, 14 minutes?
Yeah.
14 minutes? Jesus. Yeah, because I mean, at this point, it's like, it's kind of just a game of which team could throw first, and this is where you need to be the big brain of the team. Like, be like, okay, this is just, if we're grouping, we can't win. If you're ever playing Blue Cane, unless you're turbo ahead or you have like a really good team fight, if you're grouping, you're not gonna win. You need to be like, okay, I'm gonna go farm bot side camps, push out bot, try and take the bot tower, try and even take 2 if you can. And then if you want to group, hey, you just got like a bonus like 1.5k gold from all the stuff you just did. All right, I have a whole new item. Let me try and do that. You know, some people might be worried. Okay, what about the Baron? I mean, you have Brand, Mundo, TF, and they don't rush it that fast. You can definitely make it. The whole point of Blue Kane's strengths is his mobility. So you're the one who kind of controls where people go. You kind of like, you know, pressure them. You're the one who's pressuring the map, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your E is kind of like a free TP, right? Like right here, 2 picks. Once again, earlier when you got the 2 picks, imagine you got the mid tower and you got vision set up and you reset. You wouldn't have lost that fight. You know, you wouldn't. There wouldn't have been no punish. You wouldn't have lost the mid towers. You would have caught up in gold. You'd be even in gold right now. And then just think about where you go from there. You know, you get vision. You see where people are, and then you start making picks. You're like, okay, well, there's 3 on this side. There's 1 on this side, and then you know you just look to kill the one who's separated, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like anytime they make a mistake, you have to be the one that's smart enough to be like, okay, now we don't make the mistake. Now we just keep the lead and we keep pushing it, right? That's the secret of carrying is Blue Cane. Is that knowing when you have the advantage to keep the advantage. You never want to give them anything back. Once again, going for the Seraphine. I mean, that's smart. You should. But, you know. you're walking into her ult and randomization. Serpents, I'm glad you got that. I'm glad you got that when Samira is the main issue. Happy you did that.
Yeah. It's all
yeah.
3 shields, and I'm like, no.
Yeah, exactly. So if like I said, I mean, if you were playing more towards punishing the Aegis, Edge of Night would have been the most ideal itemization, but just because she got so fat, it kind of makes you have to adapt, which it's good though. It's good to adapt. Yeah, I mean, just a bunch of like silly fighting. Like, look, once again, what happened? You guys get a pick, and you go too crazy, fight too deep, and instead, you know, you could just shove mid. And if you think your team's gonna go fight in the jungle, you take the mid tower yourself. You're the one who's doing it. Or let's say they're defending it, then all right, I'm gonna go take his bot side camps. I'm gonna go shove bot wave. I'm gonna get bot tower. Like, don't. A lot of people, just because your team goes for something aggressive and they go for like an in play, that doesn't mean you should go for the in play. You should always be looking for the smart play. And people are like, oh, what if my team flames me? Well, then, I don't know, mute them or flame back if you want to.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
because, I mean, if you're making plays and you're not dying and you're not throwing, you're the one who's popping off. But in this hectic type of play style, the only success you'd ever find is with Ross, because he'll eventually carry those team fights where it doesn't matter if you throw, because, you know, you're just going to be so insane when you got trapped in there. I mean, right there, I mean, you just got to back off. I mean, they're just going to, like I said, in a group, you're always going to get fucked, especially against a team fight comp, so just, it's rough. Got to skip through some of it, because I could just, like, I don't get how they don't win the game after getting.
I know, they're really bad at closing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, and that's where you got to benefit. That's where you got to like start splitting. That's where you got to start pressuring the map, because the only reason this game doesn't go on long is because they're not splitting, they're not shoving waves, they're not playing the lanes, they're playing perma fighting. This is just ARAM. It's League ARAM.
Yeah.
And this is where 100% you're gonna abuse the fact that you're playing Blue Cane. You're gonna abuse the fact that you have a lot of mobility. A lot of burst. Now, I mean, you're not going to be able to one-shot anyone until you get Man Immune and Grudge. And you had to buy Executioner for the Warwick and the Samira and Seraphine. So it's like, you're pushed way back. You need 3,200 gold to one-shot anyone at this point. So, I mean, yeah, fighting once again. And, you know, mechanics, I'm sure you already know a lot of what I could tell you, the combos, right? So I don't think I need to go over that, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
if they're walking in certain areas. Like I said, that I wouldn't worry about that, because you can have very low mechanics and still hit Challenger. Because the first time at Challenger, I had the worst mechanics out of anyone I've ever seen. I was like pretty much handless back then. So I guarantee it's not as big of a deal as people make it out to be. Because, like I said, the more you play, it will happen naturally. But what I just want to instill into your brain is just the way you play the map. Because as a jungler, as a Kayn, we play the solo carry, right? Kayn mains, we play the solo carry. So you got to make sure that you're always making the right plays, even if your team isn't. And I'll just keep saying it over and over. Farming is so important, because if you would have farmed all game, and if you would have been pushing out lanes, you would have like 270, 280, 290 CS. I want you to imagine how much impact you would have been able to do if you had quite literally double your CS right now. That's how much CS you would have. Easily. Like, no doubt about it, because there were so many opportunities to invade, there's so many times to shove out waves and farm your own camps. This is a game where I could see myself having like 12 CS per minute, right? And I just want you to imagine all the things you could do with that. And just imagine that, and imagine all those fights that you and Mid did with Samira. She wouldn't have got that fed, right? She probably would have.
Not at all.
They would have got a couple kills, but definitely would not have been fed. And they would be forced to play side lanes. They would be forced to play your game. That's the secret. You got to get them to play into your advantage. Because when you perma group and fight like this, you're playing into their advantage, right? Because they have the better team fight comp. So that's the secret, is always making sure to play towards what your champ is catered in doing. And Blue Cane, about picks, it's about side lane plays. Sometimes when you see me grouping like this, it's because I'm ahead and I'll just poke with my W. And if I'm ahead, if you're very ahead, you can force team fights because you have such high damage. You know, you hit them with 2 Ws, they pretty much at the base. And if not, then you just kill them all. So whenever you do go aggressive in fights with Blue Cane, you have to be like way ahead to where you can one-shot like 3 people in one team fight. But otherwise, I mean, you just play behind side lanes, you just play behind your laners. Like, see, make it a pick. Look at how you made this pick bot lane. If you would have done that all game, and then shove out the wave, get the tower, get the next tower, you know, keep going. Sometimes I've played in games in ELOs, literally in Plat, where I just kept pushing and I literally won the game. I'm like, bot, all the way over here. Just end of the game because no one even realized. So it's definitely something to get in the hang of, and it's one of my favorite playstyles with Blue Kayn, just because I mean when you go side lane, it's so impossible for them to kill you. You just EQ away, and if they are coming, you could just most of them you could one shot, right? Especially in a comp like this. But yeah, I mean this game, I could definitely see what happened. I feel like a lot of it's just gonna be you know. I'm just here to see the plays at this point. I'm here to see the pop-off plays you make. Waiting to see I think you got, what, 14 kills this game, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I want to see if you make any clean combos, clean kills. But I think I could understand him already a lot. And it goes without saying that if you're ever tilted because you lost the Dragon Soul, the way to counter Dragon Soul would be Elder. And if you're ever tilted, you lost the Baron. Baron doesn't really affect you too much unless they get inhibs. Like typically when you get Baron, you look to immediately get 2 inhibs. So that, I mean, that could be good to know for if you ever are the team that gets Baron. You always want to look to get 2 inhibs. So usually you'll either reset after Baron, or if you based and then did Baron, or you just came straight from base, then you could stay in the map. But usually you reset after Baron and then you look to start shoving, pressuring the waves, right? But since they haven't really done anything with the Baron and you guys lost the Dragon Soul, the way to play would just be survive, shoving out lanes, stay alive, get gold, and then just keep your eyes on this and try and make a pick on someone before this. So typically you want to save your flash like you have now. You have your flash and, you know, just hold tab and be like, okay, who can I one-shot? Well, stopwatch, tank, and then this person. We've been doing it all game, but, you know, just flash, W prowlers, auto Q, try and do it as fast as possible. The faster you get, the easier it gets, and if you can make those fast picks and get out, that's the important thing. And, you know, get a pick, get out, get the Elder, counters the Drag Soul. Boom. Easy win. But let's see what happens. Yeah, see, but you're top 30 seconds before Elder, and then you die and get cut out before Elder. Yeah, I don't know. This is like, it's just doomed. It's just doomed. I would immediately FF. And then, I don't even know how this game keeps going on. How did it go on an extra 6 minutes, an extra 5 minutes? I gotta see this actually. I have no idea. So they get the Elder. Seraphine and Lux get caught out. Okay, I mean I guess that's good for you. Just solo to the next Elder. You have another 6 minutes. And I mean, yeah, they got 2 people caught out. So now you can actually hold. Oh, here you come. Get flank. Get behind him perfectly. I would look to just poke him. You know, poke him with W, especially if he CC'd like that. Because Warwick, he just looks to run in, right? So if you just W him and away, be good. You gotta get more into the habit of poking them with W when you go in. If you're ever worried about eating a skill shot yourself, you know, you just W in and then Q backwards, right? Dodge it.
Yep.
Thing that comes at you. I mean, yeah, just poking. Like, look at this guy. You have your E and your W up, so I'd look to poke her and then maybe get an ult inside of her. Not the kill though, that's good. And so they threw. This is like, once again, perfect situation where you guys, I mean, if you wanted to chase and look for N, good. That's good. Oh, if you ulted the Lux, though, there.
I know.
Yeah, that could have.
I didn't think I'd one-shot the Tigers fast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're, what, full build now? I'd hope
Yeah.
so. You're almost full build. You're 1 off. I'd hope so. You sold the chain sword for stopwatch. Okay. So you felt like you didn't need it anymore. Then let's see what happens. They get the Baron, yada yada yada. Then there's an Elder fight, right? That's one last thing. One last hurrah. Getting caught out. Looks like. Let's see what happened here. You look for a poke on the Lux. See, this is where the W and then Q backwards. See, you almost got caught by the cage there because you didn't do it. Oh my god, that was terrifying. I can see why he ulted. He ulted so far there, Jesus. Because the brand was low HP. And the W poke, see, there you go, good. Playing a little bit front to back. I mean, trade 1 for 1, that's really good. Really good, because they're jungler. For the poke, oh yeah, Samir just goes in. Okay, I could
alive, yep.
I could definitely see what happened this game. Like I said, I think you just got to play a little bit more structured just with your pathing, just making sure that you're getting as much advantage on yourself as you can, because just trying to help your team out too much. You want to play like that, then that's typically the type of carnivore champions like Lee Sin, Xin Zhao, Rek'Sai. Those type of champions are amazingly successful because they're low econ champions. They require a very low amount of gold to be very impactful in the early and mid game. And then, towards the late game, they're kind of just like brick walls. They just tank as much damage and die for their team. But when you play Blue Kayn, you need to make sure that you're always building advantages and you're always pressuring the map and making sure that you don't die. Because 12 deaths, that's way too many deaths. If you cut this game down, if you farmed more and died a lot less, you'd probably be like 20 plus kills and probably like maybe a couple deaths. I mean, I int a good amount of times on Kayn. Sometimes it gets too hypey, so for like 4 or 5 deaths. But you definitely would have been a lot more fed because the fact that you had 14 kills in a game like this, where the game was essentially like it should have been practically over at like 10 minutes or something, right?
Yep.
So to be able to get that many kills shows that you do have good knowledge on getting, being in the right places, right times, and getting the right stuff. But just gotta transition that more into the side lanes and gotta transition that into more split instead of like well grouped type of play style. Because I mean, well, if you want to play for the group play style, just play Red Kayn. Simple as that. All right. Do you have any other questions?
No, I think you covered everything. It makes all sense.
All right. Good. Perfect. All right. Well, it was a fun time, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. All right. Peace.